I'm Christine.
I'm sitting in my penthouse office, sipping coffee and watching the morning news. The headlines are all about me. Bus riding billionaire reveals secret empire. It's been a wild 24 hours, and I'm still relishing in the shock on my family's faces. Yesterday, I attended my parents' summer party at their mansion. I arrived by bus, just like I always do. My sister, Lily, greeted me with a smirk and a glass of champagne. "Look who finally made it." "The bus must have been running late," she said. I simply replied, "Traffic," while adjusting my cheap handbag. Little did they know it was a one of a kind Hermes, and I owned a controlling stake in the company. My mother, Mrs. Thompson, heir, kissed my cheeks and said, "Darling, you really should let us arrange a car service. It's embarrassing having you arrive like this." I checked my phone as an alert came through. My company, Orion Industries, was completing its latest acquisition right on schedule. I quietly retorted, "Some of us work for a living, Mom." Lily scoffed. "If you call that work, what are you now, some kind of secretary?" They had no idea that I was the CEO of one of the largest private investment firms in the world. Meanwhile, Mom was gushing about Lily's husband, Tom, who had just bought her another Lamborghini. "And they're building a magnificent mansion in Malibu, with Daddy's connections," Lily added smugly. I suppressed a smile, knowing that Orion Industries had acquired that stretch of beachfront months ago. My father, Mr. Thompson, approached with his business friends. "Christine, you really should let me set you up with a proper job. My friend's firm is hiring assistants," he said. I replied that I was comfortable where I was, as I checked another notification about an upcoming board meeting. Lily laughed. "Comfortable taking the bus? While the rest of us arrive in style?" The party guests tittered, looking down on me. Mom whispered that she'd loan me money for a taxi because the neighbors were talking. Just then, my phone buzzed. When I tried to speak, Lily cut me off. "Oh my God, is that an Android phone? Some of us have standards to maintain," she said, holding up her latest iPhone. I glanced at my custom, design secure device, worth more than her Lamborghini. Dad cleared his throat and said, "Christine, this lifestyle of yours is concerning. It's time to join the real world." I raised an eyebrow and asked him to tell me more. Mom gestured to Lily, who was showing off her new diamond necklace, and said, "Look at your sister. She understands how to live properly." Another notification lit up my phone. The pilot was in position. Lily smirked. "Proper living does cost money. But I suppose you wouldn't know about that, taking the bus and all." The party guests gathered, drawn to the drama. I softly said, "Money isn't everything." Lily laughed, says the poor one. "Look at your dress. Is that off the rack?" They didn't know it was a hand-tailored Dior piece worth more than their monthly mortgage. Dad started his lecture. "It's time you understood how the world works. Success requires." But my phone rang, cutting him off. The caller ID made me smile. I stepped away and answered on speaker. "Ma'am, your emergency board meeting requires immediate departure. The helicopter is approaching now." The sound of rotor blades filled the air, and the sleek black helicopter with the Orion Industries logo appeared over the trees. Lily's champagne glass slipped from her fingers. "What is that?" she gasped. I calmly replied, "A ride." "I'm afraid I'll have to cut this short." The helicopter landed on the lawn, sending party decorations flying. Dad shouted, "This is a private residence. You can't just." I smiled and said, "Actually, I can. I own the airspace rights and most of the properties in this area." My pilot opened the door and called out, "Ready when you are, C. Thompson." Lily's voice cracked. "That's impossible. You're a secretary." I smoothed my cheap dress and said, "Chief Executive Officer, actually." Maybe the confusion came from me handling my own scheduling. Dad's business friend stammered, "Orion Industries is worth." I finished, $105 billion as of this morning. The board meeting is about our latest acquisition, Thompson Enterprises. Dad's face went white. It was his pride and joy, the empire he'd built. Lily sputtered, "You're lying. Daddy would never sell." I suggested they check the business news. Just then, phones started buzzing with the news of the hostile takeover. Mom whispered, "But the bus. Why would you take public transportation?" I paused at the helicopter door and said, "Because I understand the value of staying grounded, and it's better for the environment." As the helicopter lifted off, I saw Lily frantically dialing her phone. Dad huddled with his business associates, and Mom collapsed in a chair. My phone lit up with messages. Lily, what did you do to my house? Mom, Christine, please call immediately. We need to talk. Dad, this is unacceptable. Call me now. When I arrived at the headquarters, my assistant informed me that Tom was in the lobby, agitated about the Lamborghini dealership Orion had acquired last month. I had security escort him out gently. Forbes was requesting an interview, interested in how I built Orion while my family thought I was taking the bus to work. I decided to send them the photos of me taking the bus while closing billion-dollar deals on my phone. Back in the office, the board members knew exactly who I was. The acquisition of Thompson Enterprises was complete. Their board never saw it coming. I smiled, thinking about how they were too busy laughing at the idea of a bus riding me. Throughout the day, I received texts from my family. Lily was panicking about Tom's failing business, Mom was worried about the country club, and Dad wanted to discuss things as a family. I replied to them, reminding them of all the times they'd mocked me. The next morning, they all showed up at my office. Gone were their designer outfits and superior smirks. Lily clutched papers, Dad held his company portfolio, and Mom held her social club roster. Dad started, his voice hoarse, about yesterday. I cut him off. The hostile takeover? Or the helicopter entrance? Both went exactly as planned. Lily stepped forward, her papers shaking. You have to stop this. Tom's business is failing. I pulled up the market screen and said, actually, it failed an hour ago. Orion just acquired the remains. Mom sank into a chair. I said, the country club board has been replaced. The new membership policy favors public transport users. Lily whispered, this is revenge. I turned to the window and said, this isn't revenge. It's business. While you were laughing at my bus pass, I was building something extraordinary. Dad cleared his throat. Thompson Enterprises was my life's work. I softly replied, and now it's mine. Maybe if you'd understood what I was building instead of being embarrassed by me, you'd have seen this coming. Mom pleaded, we can fix this as a family. I laughed. Family? Was it family when you told the country club I couldn't afford membership? When Lily spread rumors about my job? When Dad offered me an entry-level position at my own subsidiary? My phone lit up with another market alert. Orion stock had hit another record high. I continued. Your choices led us here. Every mockery pushed me to build something you couldn't ignore. Lily's voice cracked. What do you want from us? I turned back and said, I have everything I want. The company, the power, and the satisfaction of watching you realize how wrong you were about me. My assistant appeared with fresh market reports and said the board was waiting for my decision on the Thompson Enterprises restructuring. I smiled at my family's stricken faces and said, tell them to proceed as planned. And send up the employment applications. Entry-level positions only. After all, families should start at the bottom, right? They left in silence, their world completely upended. As I watched them stand uncertainly at the curb, my assistant asked if I should call them a car service. I smiled and said, no, I think the bus will do just fine. It's quite grounding.